This is Amy Collins. I and the rest of the group here at New Shelves would like to talk to you for a few minutes about print on demand. What is POD, print on demand? What is it, and what about regular printing? And how do we decide between the two? Should we go with print on demand, or should we stick with the traditional offset or digital printing and warehousing system? So that's what we're going to cover over the next few minutes. If you have any interest in having your books in Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Target, any of the chains or independent stores that you may have your eye on, you need to understand that these stores all purchase, including Amazon. Amazon is a store, it's a retailer. They all prefer to buy from wholesalers. Yes, Amazon and Barnes & Noble and your local bookstore will buy from you directly, but boy, they make it hard. They make it expensive, and they do not like doing so. They prefer to work with a wholesaler. Let's go over briefly what a wholesaler is and what their roles are in the publishing and book world. To start with, a wholesaler is a company that sells books to retailers. They work for retailers. They will then charge the retailers for the books that they sell them. They will purchase the books from you, the author, publisher. So they buy the books from you, but they sell them to retailers. They pay you, but they charge the retailers for the money. And what do they want in exchange for this service? They want to buy your books from the publisher at a 55% discount off the retail price. Why do they want it? Because when they sell the books to the retailers that they work for, those retailers are going to demand anywhere from a 40 to 45% discount off the retail price of the book. The wholesaler only keeps 10, maybe 15% tops. Wholesalers are also going to demand free shipping. They do not want to pay for shipping to their warehouse. Once the books arrive at their warehouse, they're happy to pay to have the books put on trucks and shipped to their customers. But you are having to pay for the shipping to the wholesaler. The wholesaler is your customer. The bookstore is the wholesaler's customer. The wholesalers will insist on buying your books on returnable terms. That means that if the books do not sell, those books can be returned to you as long as they're returned to you within, it could be a 90-day period, 180 days. It depends on the contract you've worked out with them. You have, if you're going to work with a wholesaler, you have to sell your book on returnable terms. A wholesaler in almost all cases will charge and want a catalog fee, anywhere from $50 to $400 to list your book in their databases and in their catalogs. And there will also be setup fees. Some of these setup fees are annual. Wholesalers are a wonderful service for our industry, but it's very expensive to work with them. They make a great deal of sense if you're selling a high enough quantity of books to make these expenses something that you can amortize out. And when you have a wholesaler and you've decided that you want to work with them, what is it you need to sell them? You need to sell them books. And how do you get books? You go to a printer. What does a printer do? What are printers? Printers print books from the file that the publisher provides. Printers do not proofread, they do not edit, although some of them will hook you up with editors and proofreaders. A printer is a company that will simply take the file that the publisher provides and print them on paper. They can use either digital or offset machines. A digital printer is a smaller printing machine that uses flat pieces of paper, and they can print smaller print runs, 25 books at a time, 50 books at a time, hey, even one at a time if they need to, but usually there's minimums for digital printers. Offset printing machines are much larger machines that use huge rolls of paper, and these rolls of paper go in, and you usually have to have a starting order of at least 1,500, give or take, about 1,500 to make an offset printing run worth it. A printer also has customers. They work for the publisher. They will charge the publisher and ship the books to the publisher as they wish. Printers will also sometimes offer warehousing. A lot of printers, especially in the last 5 years, have learned that they can make a great deal of extra money on the side if instead of shipping books and charging the publishers all that money to ship books across the country to them, they will warehouse them for them. So sometimes printers will offer warehousing as well, and that is at times a good deal. How much do printers charge? Well, and again, this is a very general rule of thumb, but if you have a black and white paperback book, it costs about a penny a black and white page, plus approximately 30 cents to put a 4-color paperback cover on your book. If you would like your book printed as a hardcover, it costs quite a bit more because that hardcover has to be bound on separately. It's not something they can just glue on right there at the printer factory the way they can at the printer, the way they can with a paperback. And the printer will charge to ship the books to your warehouse, or if you are the author from wherever the printer is, they will charge whatever it costs to get the books to you. So that is the, in general, rule of thumb. If you're trying to figure out how much to budget, if you hire a printer, you will probably need to, not probably, I will tell you, you'll need to order at least 500 or 1,000. So this is a cost that comes up front. If you have a 300-page book, and a 300-page book at $1 a page plus 30 cents for the paperback, that comes to $3.30 per book. And if you order 1,000 of those to start, that's $3,300 right there before shipping. That is how printers make money, and that is how books get printed. But what about print on demand? What is print on demand? Well, print on demand is a business model that creates, prints, and ships books as they're ordered. Print on demand is where you take book files and they're kept in a computer, in a big system, until an order comes in, and then the book is printed to that order. If someone on Amazon orders one copy of your book, and Amazon uses a print-on-demand model, and they have a company, which I'll tell you about in a second, called CreateSpace. If they use the print-on-demand model to fulfill that order, they will only print one copy. That is what print-on-demand is. It prints to the demand. It fulfills orders as they come in. Digital printing and the new world of shipping and fulfillment has made print on demand possible and very profitable for companies to offer publishers. And a print on demand company, to start, they too, just like a traditional printer, will print the books directly from the file that you as the publisher provides. They will not change your file. If you suddenly find out that your mother's name is spelled wrong, they didn't do that. They print the books directly from the file that you provide. They do use digital printers. They use the smaller sheet fed printers that will allow them to print 1 book at a time, 5 books at a time. Just like traditional printers, they work for you and they charge you for the printing. They will ship the books directly to you if that's what you want. But the thing about print-on-demand companies that I love is they will also sell books to wholesalers and to retailers on your behalf. See, you don't have to order the books, have them shipped to you, and then you turn around and ship them to the wholesaler or the retailer. These print-on-demand companies, the great thing about them is these print-on-demand companies can get orders directly from the wholesalers and the retailers, print them and ship them on your behalf, and you don't have to do a thing. It happens automatically. So let's get into a little bit about how this works, and let's go through that particular system, because that's the cool thing about print on demand. Print on demand companies, the big ones you need to know about: IngramSpark, also known as Lightning Source in some cases. IngramSpark is a fantastic print on demand company that focuses on the bookstore and library market. And if you're interested in getting your books into bookstores and libraries, you definitely want to check out IngramSpark.com. For Amazon, you also, not either or, this is an and, you also need to get your files and your books into CreateSpace.com if Amazon is important to you. And if Barnes & Noble is on your horizon, something that is a goal for you, you don't want to forget Nook. Nook is a fantastic print-on-demand company that Barnes & Noble has been folding in and trying to get going. They're doing a great job with it. If you want to be in Barnes & Noble, don't forget Nook. These 3 companies all work in a very similar way. If you send your file and sign up with IngramSpark, by the way, it's free to sign up with IngramSpark. If you sign up with IngramSpark, you give your file to them, and when bookstores and libraries place an order, IngramSpark will print the book, send it to Ingram Wholesaler because bookstores and libraries will have ordered the book from Ingram Wholesaler, a sister company to IngramSpark. IngramSpark will print the book, send it over to Ingram Wholesaler. Ingram Wholesaler that next day, within 24 hours, will ship it out to the bookstore or library. It all happens. You don't get charged a thing. At the end of the month, once all of your sales have been tallied, IngramSpark will tell you how much they owe you. They'll take off the printing costs. Don't worry about the dollars and cents. We're going to cover that in just a minute. But they'll take off the printing costs and they'll send you and put into your bank account at the end of every month what they still owe you. CreateSpace works very similarly. CreateSpace, they're owned by Amazon, Amazon being a retailer. If my Aunt Martha orders a copy of your book from Amazon, Amazon will get that order, turn around and place the printing order with CreateSpace, their print-on-demand company. CreateSpace will print the book, they'll send the book over to Amazon. Amazon that next day, within 24 hours, will ship the book to my Aunt Martha, and Aunt Martha is none the wiser. She has no idea that the book wasn't sitting on Amazon's shelf. That's how that works. The exact same thing happens with Barnes & Noble. Somebody orders your book through a Barnes & Noble store or barnesandnoble.com. Nook does the same print-on-demand system, and it mirrors exactly what CreateSpace and IngramSpark does. I was talking about the dollars and cents and the money, and that is the most important part, something to keep in mind. If you're going to spend $3,300 to print 1,000 copies of your book and then have to figure out all the warehousing, I really want you to understand what the charges are and how the math works. So the next few slides, we're going to cover the math. Starting with, what does IngramSpark, again, also known as Lightning Source, charge? Well, it starts with they charge about 2 cents for a black and white page, plus anywhere from 50 to 90 cents for a paperback cover. It depends on the type of cover. I'll be frank. It's a range. Hardcover costs, if you want a hardcover, it's $2 per black and white page plus $8 for a hardcover. So if you have a 300-page book and you want a paperback, it would cost you approximately $3.50, perhaps even as much as $3.90. A hardcover at that point would cost you $11 to print a hardcover, but you can order one at a time. How cool would it be to be able to order 1 copy or 10 copies as you need them and not have to order 1,000 to start? Ingram will handle the printing and shipping to the wholesalers at no extra fees. If Baker & Taylor or Ingram gets an order, they will go to IngramSpark and order your book. IngramSpark will print and ship your book to them, and you will not pay any shipping or handling fees once the book is printed. You're allowed to set your discount to the bookstores and the wholesalers anywhere from 35 to 55% off the retail price. And you can decide on returnability. If you decide that you do not want your book returnable, it will, for the most part, knock you out of most of the wholesalers. But if you're at IngramSpark, even non-returnable, your book is still available to be special ordered for bookstores. That means that my Aunt Martha could walk into her local Barnes & Noble, her local independent bookstore, and still order a book and have it to her within a few days, because those bookstores will order books from Ingram, even if they're non-returnable. If you want your book stocked in big numbers across the country in bookstores, you do need to make it returnable, as I've said, but you can make the decision with IngramSpark. It's completely up to you. IngramSpark is free to sign up for, but every title, as you set up the title, they do charge between $35 and $60 in setup fees. But if you're a member of IBPA, if you're a member of AuthorU, if you're a member of a number of different organizations, these organizations, such as IBPA and AuthorU and others, a lot of them have agreements with IngramSpark where they have special codes that you as a member can use, and you can have these fees waived. I'm a member of IBPA and AuthorU, and I haven't paid an Ingram upload or title setup fee in years because I have the codes that I can use. You can do it as well. So as I promised, we're going to walk through the math. Let's take a look at printing 1,000 copies or so of your book traditionally and trying to get it into wholesalers. Your paperback, I'm just for the sake of argument, let's say it costs $16 retail. It's a $16 paperback. The wholesalers will buy that book from you for $7.20. $7.20 is a 55% discount off the $16 retail price of your book. The shipping and handling costs on average, now I have worked this out over a course of 3 months for the books that I've worked with in my warehouse, but the shipping and handling costs on average per book to get your books to a wholesaler is $2.80. It will cost, remember I told you to print, approximately $3.50 to print a 300-page book offset or traditionally, roughly, plus the cost of shipping to the warehouse. And so worst case scenario, I think you're looking at about $3.80, worst case scenario. That leaves you 80 cents profit. Even if your shipping and handling costs aren't $2.80, let's say they're not as high as mine, although I'm not exactly sure how that would work because I'm not just talking about UPS costs. I'm talking about where your book's warehoused. How are you, the time to put them into the box? How are they being shipped? Are you using a fulfillment or a warehouse company? Are they charging you? Even if you're doing it yourself from your garage, putting 5 copies of your book into a mailer and then mailing media mail, that is still going to be $9 or $10. So the cheapest you can go, and you can estimate is probably about $2.50. But I'm saying even at $2.80, that's quite a stretch. Now to compare, let's do the math for print on demand with IngramSpark. You have the same $16 book. You set a 50% discount to Ingram. You can sell that book to bookstores and libraries at a 50% discount because IngramSpark allows you to choose a different wholesaler discount, and Ingram is fine with a 50% discount if you're using their sister company, IngramSpark. It's one of the many perks of using their sister company. Your print-on-demand printing for this book is a lot more than traditional. I'll give you that. It's $6.90, worst case scenario for a 300-page paperback book. But the shipping cost is $0. You do not pay to have your book shipped anywhere, to any wholesaler, any retailer. It's completely moot. That means that worst case scenario, worst case, you're left with $1.10 profit. Now, I want you to compare that to 80 cents against traditional, and that is best case profit. So your worst case scenario is $1.10 profit versus best case 80 cents with traditional. Before you freak out and say, I only make 80 cents a book, yeah, you do. If you want to sell to bookstores and libraries, I am afraid that's the kind of profit that you guys are looking at. You really need to dig into the math. That is if you have a $16 book. If you have a $25 hardcover, or if you have an $18 book, your numbers will vary. But take a look at these numbers and run them for yourself based on your own printing prices and your own retail price of your book. But the good news is we can do this exact same exercise with Amazon. If you want to print your book at a traditional printer, warehouse them or have them shipped to your garage, and work through Amazon Advantage, that $16 book will be sold to Amazon for $7.20. If you are an Amazon Advantage member, you are given the privilege of selling your books on Amazon. You pay $99 a year for that privilege. So that's another cost I haven't even factored in. $99 a year just for the privilege of using Amazon Advantage, and they will require a 55% discount. So you will get $7.20 for your Amazon shipment book. The shipping cost averages $1.50. And I base this on my last 90 days of shipping books for my clients to Amazon Advantage. That is Amazon asking you to ship a book either to Kentucky or Oregon or all the different warehouses, and they will probably order just a few at a time. Your $3.50 printing cost for a 300-page book, plus the cost of shipping to the warehouse, is the same $3.60 I used before, which leaves you $1.14 profit. $1.14 if you go to Amazon. And then there's CreateSpace. Wait till you see this, guys. That $16 book is sold to Amazon, but Amazon only wants a 40% discount if you use CreateSpace. They're very much like Ingram and IngramSpark. They'll give you a break on the discount if you're using their printing company because they want you to. They're trying to encourage you to use their company. So you get $9.60 for every book that Amazon buys from you to fulfill to give to their customers. Your print-on-demand cost for printing at CreateSpace is only $6.20 for a 300-page book. CreateSpace charges a little less for printing than IngramSpark. Again, your shipping cost is $0, and that leaves you with a whopping $3.40 profit for a $16 book versus $1.14 with Advantage. Feel free to rewind this video and go over these numbers over and over again. You can also email me at any point. I'll be giving you my email in a few slides. If you would like a breakdown of these slides, I'd be happy to email them to you. But your options at this point is to either use print on demand, or you can apply to Baker and Taylor and Ingram and the other wholesalers like Brodart and Bookazine and America West on your own. You can print and then pay up front for 1,000 or 2,000 copies of your book, or even a couple hundreds at a time. And if you only print 500, your cost per unit will go up. But applying to Baker and Taylor, Ingram, Bookazine, they say no most of the time until you can prove some demand. So just be aware that if you decide to go this way, you might want to apply to Baker and Taylor, apply to Ingram, apply to America West, and get their response before you decide to print thousands of copies. I would hate to have you have 2,000 copies of your book in a basement and no wholesaler will work with you. It doesn't mean your book isn't awesome. Wholesalers have to be very picky, and they can only choose to work with the books and with the publishers that have already proven themselves. Your other option is to sell direct only instead of going through retailers. Maybe you don't want to work with Amazon, or you don't want to be in bookstores. I get that. Sell them on your own website, sell them yourself at your events. You can just stick to the online world and only sell on Amazon and just ignore bookstores, libraries, and events entirely. Or you can do what other people do and just focus on ebooks. I'm not a huge fan of that option because ebooks are only 25% of our market. Another 25% being audiobooks and the remaining half being the print books. But if you're going to do ebook only, it's a valid choice if that's all your budget can handle. I totally get that. So there's my overview of print on demand versus regular printing. I hope that you will rewatch this video if you have any questions. Here is my contact information. Feel free to email me, amy@newshelves.com, or visit my website, newshelves.com/blog. I have some great articles there that will also help you get into IngramSpark, will help you get into CreateSpace, show you how to work with both. If you're only in CreateSpace now and you want to move your book over to IngramSpark, all of that is there. Or you are welcome to also get a lot of this information from my book, The Right Way, which is available as a free ebook download from my website, www.newshelves.com. It was wonderful sharing these few minutes with you, and I thank you so much for your attention while we discuss print on demand and what it means for you.